I'd like to welcome everyone again to Hemp Home Expo, and I would now like to introduce, I would say, one of the masterminds of this virtual expo, Mr. Ramon Granados. He is the head organizer of Hemp Home Expo, and I think the best person to introduce himself is no other than Mr. Ramon Granados himself. Good afternoon, Mr. Ramon. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Kimi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. This has been a journey for all of us to organize and deliver this event in just 8 weeks. We are proud not only of the effort, but the way that everyone has received this call throughout the planet. And we have over 30 speakers that ranges from 12 countries and 4 different continents. We have people that are involved with from building construction, designing home buildings, manufacturers of steel structures from plastic hemp. We have people that are building batteries. We have people that are working with biochar. So the range of options just within the hemp home building experience and potential investments are large enough to create a complete new circular economy around the world. Once again, it is a great pleasure for me to have you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sergiy Kovalenkov, and I'm the founder of the company called Hempire. Basically, I've been involved in the Hempcrete industry, I would say, for more than 10 years. I got introduced to Hempcrete through Australia. That's when I participated in the house construction, the first ever house construction in Tasmania. I was fascinated by this tech, and you know, it's my life changed right after that moment. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about what I've been involved with. I'm a civil engineer, and I never really thought that I was the part of the problem. You know, the cities we live in, you know, they maximize the space, but some of the housing, some of the buildings that we build to satisfy some building codes, you know, they are not suitable for people, and we always forget that. You know, the problem is that we consume the resources, but we never really count the nature in, and that's pretty much the main problem right now that we have in the world. And you know, we're very egocentric, you know, creatures, to be honest, right? So, and the amount of trash that we produce, it's fascinating. You know, I once worked in Turkey, and the company was producing concrete, and the concrete production facility is not so big, right? But right beside our production facility was the cement production factory. And that
I'm
thing
gonna try
was
to be back for him because he's technical and he doesn't know what he's doing. So I want to talk him through it. He's an older guy. Anyway, so
Aaron,
does that make sense?
Aaron, you're on you're unmuted.
Hello?
At 12:30.
Aaron, you're unmuted.
Yeah.
Aaron, Aaron, you're speaking over the speaker.
Yeah, it would just Wolf. I'll try to be back, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my computer on.
All right.
I'm just heading in the road. If you have any problems, you can text me.
Just
Okay.
a second, Sergey. I don't think she realizes she's on the line.
I think she just dropped. It's fine. Yeah. So basically is
the cement factory.
Hello.
Hi, I'm very sorry. I didn't realize I was unmuted. I'm gonna leave you guys be. I'm trying to sort things out.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically the amount of trash that we produce is overwhelming, and the construction industry is the biggest factor in all of this, right? So we're just our basically Mother Nature is overwhelmed with our activities, and we see in which way, right? The amount of forests that being chopped down to produce low quality materials, and the consequences that we suffer are visible only afterwards, right? So profit-oriented society will never be able to strive and advance. And quite frankly, it's sickening that it's not us, but our children who's going to be answering these questions, right? That we have created. So for example, this diagram just shows the amount of byproducts, biodegradable products that are produced, renewable products that are produced by the planet. And as we can see in the last, I would say 50 years, we come to the point that we need 1.7 planets to satisfy our needs. And the amount of the population of, keeps climbing up while we have finite amount of resources. So obviously, this is what's happening in the construction industry, right? Trashy materials replacing old trashy materials, and it's a never-ending cycle. And the stuff that we see growing behind the gypsum in our houses is quite detrimental to our health and health of our children, right? So just check out the amount of respiratory diseases among children in North America, and you'll be knocked out. So 30% of all carbon emissions drops on the construction sector. It's the biggest polluter in the world, and obviously, creating low quality materials while using so much energy to produce them, and they only last for about 20-30 years. It's quite frankly disgusting, right? So no one really cares how they produced, where they produced. The only thing that matters, it satisfies the building codes. It looks good on paper, but in reality, it doesn't perform that well. So of course, the solution is carbon negative hemp houses. I know the entire time we've been talking about the hemp, but I'm just wanted to share my part of story, how I kind of shifted towards this tech, and obviously it was very, very important for me to find out that there is such materials like Hempcrete and other hemp-based products, and not just hemp-based products, but other natural materials which we can utilize today in different parts of the world quite safely and confidently. For example, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to host a workshop with one private school. It's going to be, I think, children between grade 3 and grade 7 building Hempcrete house with us. So I just want to make, so I'll have a message for all the builders and architects that are skeptical about this technology, is that if children can build with this material, I think you guys can figure it out, right? So about 6 years ago, I started a company called Hempire, and we have developed an all-natural lime-based binder called the Fifth Element. So the main idea was to develop a binder that would be only of local raw materials. So we've succeeded. We found a way to use only Ukraine-based products. The company Hempire was founded by me in Ukraine. Now we have two representational offices, one in Kiev, Ukraine, the other one is in California, in LA. So basically, we started to build with this, right? We started to build actively. The very first project was quite difficult to find. People were so skeptical about it, and like in any other country, pretty much, right? People were not serious about it, and I had to really convince a close friend of mine to start building with Hempcrete. So we started to build, and the first one, this is the first project and extension on the house. We went deep into the December when we were mixing Hempcrete, and it was quite crazy when all that moisture froze inside the walls. And I thought, oh, that's the end of our Hempcrete story in Ukraine, because client was walking around with me somewhere in February, and they were fascinated how hard the walls are, and he's like, oh my God, these walls are like stone hard. And I knew that the moisture just didn't evaporate at that time. But came March and April, and that thing held together. We got lucky by the weather, like it was quite warm weather that time. And we had a couple of weeks of really, really warm December, and that's what really saved us. We were managed to kind of put it all together, and locked it all up and hope for the best. And Hempcrete showed itself, right that spring. The following spring, I was mesmerized by its ability not to crack, even though lime didn't get in reaction with water just froze. And I thought the whole thing would crumble down, but it didn't. And then, as you can see, that's the photo taken the next spring, and it all turned white. The carbonation process, right, sequestration of carbon dioxide took place. So I really wanted to make sure that it's dry, and then we all kind of wetted it all before we applied the render on it, and now it's just in perfect shape. So we started to build the dome houses. One of the first projects that we encountered in Ukraine was the dome house, and at that time, I didn't know if anyone did, and I'm just going to show you some more photographs of what we have done with the dome projects. We started to build the counters even in the dispensaries. This is in San Diego, actually. It was also a crazy project because we didn't have a mixer. We were mixing everything by hand, day and night. We only had like 2 or 3 days to complete it all. It was really, very painful. But anyways, so basically, we started to throw hemp everywhere. We started to use hemp-based renders, plasters. I was just so much in love with this material, I couldn't stop talking about it. People would tell me to shut up because no one building with Hempcrete at that time in Ukraine. I was the only one. And it was quite a difficult concrete wall that I had to penetrate through in order to find more clients and believers in this tech. But as years went by, sorry about that. We just started to gain more and more traction and experience with our installation projects. People started to believe. We received some media attention, of course. So we went on to complete around 60 projects in the last 5-6 years. And we started to build big houses as well. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we started to build round houses made out of stone. This is a house with a green roof on top of it. This guy just had a bunch of stone. He's building up ponds all over Ukraine, so he decided to build himself a stone house, right? And so it took a while to convince people that these houses can look just like regular houses, not some mud huts. But then the real beauty was about the dome houses. I mean, right after we completed our first project with the dome house, we immediately received new orders, and the whole thing kind of took off. Even though it's a little bit tricky with the roofing material, I have to say, and the finishing inside the house, it's not just your regular rectangular wall, just like, the regular projects we completed. But then, like I've said, I wanted to share my knowledge with you on the dome houses. It is really fascinating in terms of load bearing capabilities, you know, so sometimes you have a fireplace in the middle or some walls to hold it up, to hold up the timber, the roof truss structure, and sometimes you don't. And I have to say, energy-wise, like energy efficiency-wise, it's more suitable. Like, you know, this type of house will save you much more money than a rectangular house. Energy-wise, it's so comfortable to be in a house like this. Really, really comfortable. So this house we were helping to build in Poland as well. These guys are growing hemp, and they decided to have a showroom right in the middle of the hemp field, and it's also is a very, very nice project. So this little sample has been sitting outside, exposed to rain and snow in Ukraine, and it didn't fall apart. It didn't fall apart, and it keeps on going. You know, it keeps on holding on. So for me, it answers all the questions. You know, I like really to test things out, and you know, if I would leave a piece of any other installation right there in the field for at least like a year or two, I wouldn't know the result of it. But now I know that if this material is left unprotected and it's holding its shape after years, I'm really confident that it can perform really, really well for like 50, 60, 70 years, you know. This was also another interesting project of ours when we were asked to insulate old Soviet reinforced concrete building from inside, because it was January and it was a frost on that concrete. And we were performing this when it was minus 20 Celsius outside. It was really, really cold at that time. But then again, Hempcrete, just because it's vapor permeable, it showed its ability to dry off at some point of time. We understood that there would be a dew point in between Hempcrete and concrete, and condensation would occur. But because we pretty much left it and finished it up with a coat of lime wash, nothing really happened. There was no problem at all, and it's harder than a stone right now. The thickness of that Hempcrete layer is between 18 and 20 centimeters, so like 8 inches, and it's quite fascinating to see that it's hard as a stone because it's totally exposed. You can come and touch it at any day and time. So the dome houses, like I've said, right? This was one of the most challenging projects for us because some of the dome house owners, they asked us to leave Hempcrete exposed, hanging in the air, and that's what creates all the problems. You know, we have to install the temporary shattering, and then we have to remove it, and then make sure that it all sits in place and don't overdo it, because people have to continue with their works. So as the years went by, we kind of improved our technique on application of Hempcrete, knowing, understanding exactly when to remove our shattering. And now we have examples of these dome houses like this. Yeah, exactly. You see right here. So we're moving really fast with these houses. I think this house was insulated, if I'm not mistaken, within 4 weeks with a team of 3 or 4 people completed. Like I've said, domes are a little bit more tricky to insulate than a rectangular house, but it really catches attention from bypassers. I have to say, it's amazing. I've noticed it all the time. People are mesmerized when they pass by. First of all, they don't understand what is going on, like why such a funny shaped house, and they're questioning, is this a house? Is this going to be a private house? And then the next question is like, what are you building out of? And that knocks them over totally, right? So yeah, this was one of the historical projects for us. This was a house on wheels, a project initiated by our friend Dion McGrath, who passed away recently. Yeah, this was another fascinating example of how Hempcrete can hold together, because we put this whole structure in Hempcrete up in 3 days. So we had a flat trailer, and in 3 days we put up a frame and we almost finished it up.
All right. Do we have all our set?
Hello? No, someone's talking. Okay. Yeah. So the funny thing is that we had to move it twice within 24 hours. So it was all wet. We finished it up at 1 a.m. and at 5 a.m. the truck came to pick it up. So we thought there is no way that this thing will hold together for the event. We brought it in Balboa Park in downtown San Diego, and then in the end of the day we had to move it back. And we were impressed with Hempcrete's ability with the tensile strength and the shear strength, right? Because it was all fresh. So when people say that, you know, Hempcrete is going to be acting funny and it's not a reliable insulation material in the high seismic activity zone, is not true. So because we have we have a practical experience here. While it was still wet, it was performing like that, right? So pretty much that's most of our projects were all about. This is a golden ratio project in Hopland, California, type of Airbnb and Solar Living Institute premises. These are the projects that we would like to take on in future. And right now we are currently raising money to establish hemp processing multifunctional facilities, which would be producing different panels. We have some, we've done some R&D in the previous few years on the panels insulation blocks that we would like to produce for the mass market. So right now we're raising some money to set up a facility like this in Europe, one in USA and one in Asia. So if you would like to join our forces and become part of Hempire, please send me a message, and I would really like to talk to you, because right now we are really getting into the hemp processing activities and finding out more about this. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Great job and beautiful stuff.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
That binder that you developed. So this is the fifth element. This is a new kind of binder. Is it a lime-based binder, or this is something different?
It's a lime-based binder. I can tell you right now, we don't have any cement or like a hydraulic lime or stuff like fly ash. We don't have any of this volcanic stuff in it. You just receive one bag of that binder, you receive hemp, and you're ready to insulate and with it. And the beauty about it is that you can remove the formwork instantly after you apply the Hempcrete. Even for our dome buildings, you know, as you advance vertically, only in the end, when the wall gets into already into the roof horizontal shape, then we keep our formwork for like a few days. But if we're talking about vertical walls, it's an immediate removal of formwork, and you end up with an extremely light Hempcrete. It's almost as light as the one that you get through spraying. So A, you save on the amount of binder that you use per cubic foot or cubic meter, and B, the reaction time is, it's instant, right? So there is no technological delay. So now our binder is available in California for North American markets. We produce it there. We produce the binder for European market in Ukraine. And like I've said, we don't want to stop there. We already done some, we've obtained some good results on an installation panel, the one that contains lime binder and the one does not, where you just have natural glues and you just mount it directly onto on the timber frame. So definitely would love to talk to you about your beautiful technology, and we've been talking about it with you for quite some years now. Yeah, it's incredible how Hempcrete can become a battery for your house. I mean, it's a multi-purpose material then, you know. We'll come to that point. So ladies and gentlemen, yeah, if you have any questions, so you want to talk to me, I'll leave my contacts in the chat in case you didn't record them. And thank you for your attention. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sergiy, so much for being a part of
Thank you,
Hemp Home.
Sergiy, so much.